We are back on Inside Politics. We're talking mayoral politics today with the election coming up, the runoff election on September 12th, this coming Thursday. Yihyun, the Tennessean, and Tony Gonzalez of Nashville Public Radio, WPLN, are our guests. They've been covering the race. There's also been a letter from the state comptroller that's come out during this election questioning and raising questions about the size of Metro's debt and also about its debt-related and budget policies. It wants written answers, the state comptroller does, by September 20th. That's an odd time. We'll have a new mayor elected, but whoever that mayor is, including Mayor Briley, may not have been sworn in for a second term. So, Yihyun, who responds to that? Does Mayor Briley write his response? Does John Cooper do a separate response? Do they work together on it? How's that going to work?
Well, I think Mayor Briley's got to respond, by September 20th. And based on my conversations with the administration, they plan to do so. I mean, the letter so far, the biggest concerns are the city's plan to, have a private parking deal and then the sale of its district energy system. And he's got to give, a status report on those two issues. And whether Cooper decides to do, another letter if he is elected, I'm not so sure yet.
Tony, the council wants to be involved in this. They're also kind of in a hiatus as the rest of their members are all elected. Right. They'll be coming in. They don't meet for the first time till October 1st, but they passed a resolution saying they want to be kept informed. So are we going to get an early idea of what they're sending to the state, because they're likely to be sending it to council members to say, here's what we're going to do?
Right. I mean, I think as soon as that letter is sent, I imagine we'll all find out about it. I mean, I think the administration will want people to know the letter has been sent. But yeah, I mean, the council has been, they've been very critical of the parking meter idea. And they have obviously put some extra pressure on the administration to keep them posted on this. But yeah, I mean, the council is not meeting in September. So the timing of all of this is, I don't know if we have an exact precedent that we can sort of look at, but I think the letter would come out soon from Briley's administration.
So when it does come out, the big thing will be, Mayor Briley has said during the campaign he plans to go back with this privatization program for the parking meters and try to resell it to the council again. What are his chances on that? He didn't get a very good reception about that at all in the council.
No, I'm not so sure. I mean, he put the pause, right? He said he's putting the brakes on this plan, because the election season has kind of, dirtied this plan for him. And
it was about to get defeated in the council, too.
Exactly, right. But, despite doing that, it's still, part of the budget that had passed, by default. He had still, included that in there. But, he's promising comprehensive discussion. I'm not sure yet what that's going to look like, when that's going to happen, but, he's got to be able to convince, a Metro Council and the public that it's a good deal.
Now, Tony, if
emergency transmitted as a request of the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation statewide. Amber Alert has been issued by the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation on behalf of the Clarksville Police Department for 10-year-old Lisa D. Thompson and 11-year-old Trevine Devin Thompson Jr. Lisa is a biracial female with brown hair, brown eyes, 4 feet 2 inches tall, and 55 pounds. Trevine is a biracial male with brown hair, brown eyes, 4 feet 5 inches tall, and 75 pounds. Lisa and Trevine were last seen at their residence in Clarksville, Tennessee on September 5th, 2019. If you have information regarding the location of Lisa or Trevine, please contact the TBI 1-800-TBI-FMLP or the Clarksville Police Department at 9316-480656 extension 5537.
I mean, again, Metro Council has to approve this, and so he has to answer that question as well. How would he fill that budget gap, correct? And so the finance director has said, kind of, it's not one single line item they'll have to look at, maybe more of a series. And so she did, point to specifics of saying, considering the $10 million for the Barnes Fund for Affordable Housing, she said, the appropriations for nonprofit organizations and essentially what she would call, the discretionary funding that's, put into the system.
Discretionary, but when she said those, when she gave her list of, so the finance director was kind of pressed on this in front of the council,
right.
Like, what could we do? And when she said those things, I mean, there weren't literal gasps, but I mean, those are some,
Almost
popular,
almost sacred cows.
yes, those are some popular items in the budget.
Definitely.
So I mean, if I think that kind of does get back to the seriousness of things are pretty tight in that budget.
And if it's a John Cooper administration, you're probably going to have different personalities. The one appointment the mayor makes and the new mayor makes is to appoint a finance director. He's the only Metro department head who works at his or her discretion. He also will appoint a new legal director. So we could have some new personalities, some new people involved in this, depending on who the mayor is.
Definitely, there could be some shakeup, and I think a lot of people are eager to see how that would play out if Cooper is elected.
Tony, you did some intense interviews with both candidates in recent days. One of them, thing that I heard was kind of interesting, is that John Cooper brought up the idea for Metro Transit of floating additional hundreds of millions of dollars in loans to help them expand service. I thought this was the guy that was trying to hold down the city's debt. How's he going to float hundreds of millions of dollars of more loans for transit?
Well, and that did come as news to me in that moment of the interview. I wish I would have asked another follow-up question right then and there. I did follow up with the campaign and just confirmed, you're saying hundreds of millions of dollars through government bonds, and they said, yes, that is the plan. Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of money. It would be a lot of Metro debt. I think part of that broader conversation is, what else would you do to fund transit? And one of the other options would be a referendum to the voters to increase taxes to do it. And I think Cooper has been consistent that he does not like that idea. And that question's been asked throughout the entire campaign. So we've known for a while that he doesn't want a tax referendum. I think now we're hearing what the other alternative is, and it sounds like capital improvement, government bonds.
Tony Gonzalez is our guest. He's from Nashville Public Radio, WPLN. Yihyun of the Tennesseans, also a reporter with the Tennessean, and she is also been covering the mayor's race. Back to continue our conversation with the two of them after this break.